I'm Angel. Thanks for stopping by. I want to tell you 3 easy things that you can change about your language and the way you speak that could have a dramatic positive effect on your relationships and on your life. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Number 1 thing is you can start to really pay attention to the difference between using negative words to say something and using positive words. And when you catch yourself using a negative word, even if you don't feel like right off the bat that it's negative, like not or won't or don't or shouldn't, couldn't, can't, see if you can find a different way of saying that. And if you are around people who will allow you to just kind of, or you don't even need permission, you can just say, let me start that over, let me try to restate that. And then so for example, instead of saying I don't know how to do that, you could say I'm still gonna learn how to do that, just for an example. Find a way that's still true of saying the same thing but with positive words instead of negative words. I just recently had the fortunate pleasure of spending a few hours actually with a good friend of mine, with the agreement that we would help each other and point out when we were using sort of negative words and give each other the chance to restate those things in positive frameworks while we were having a conversation. And so it was really helpful because you don't always hear it yourself, but with practice you get better at it. And it's awesome if you have a friend like I do that will do an exercise like that with you. But even if you don't, you can start to do it for yourself, or you could maybe even record yourself and then at some point when you're talking to people, and then look for, kind of evaluate them from the outside, and then make an exercise, maybe write down a different sentence for those ones, even if you don't have the opportunity to do it in real time with someone. I think that can be super helpful in reframing your life, using more positive words instead of negative words. And number 2 thing that I think is an easier thing to do is to start to listen for words like but and should or shouldn't or couldn't and can't, and see if you can eliminate those words as much as possible, or at least pay attention to if you're using them a lot, and just see if you can find a better word in most of those cases. Number 3 thing that is easy, helpful thing to do to help make your relationships better and your life better, is instead of saying sorry, unless there's really an apology due, in which case I've got another video on like the 5 steps to a good apology. If you're gonna apologize, then make it a sincere apology and do it right, and talk about what you did wrong and how you're gonna make that better. Don't just flippantly say I'm sorry, because and I'm guilty of this too. So many of us say sorry so much of the time that it becomes a little bit, I was going to say frivolous or superficial. So if an apology is really due, then make a good apology, and if not, then see if you can switch the sorries to thank yous. So the easy example is, if you're late for something, instead of saying sorry, say thank you for waiting for me, or thank you for your patience. And if an apology is due, then again, make that apology. But that includes like letting them know, acknowledging the harm that's done. To use that example, it might be, I'm aware that my tardiness is disrupting your class or has used up your valuable time, and so I regret being late, and I assure you I will do my best in the future to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'm sorry. So that's like a quick and easy, even for a small thing, apology. Now, of course, small thing, that just depends on the context, the people, the situation. So there's, what's small in one context or to somebody might be huge to another. So that's up to you to decide when it's a genuine apology and when it might be better switch to a thank you for your patience, or thank you for waiting for me, or thank you for putting up with my rambling, or thank you for, paying for my dinner when I forgot my wallet. Whatever it is, if you can switch it to a thank you, I think it has a better effect than a sorry, which again is kind of reverberates back to my number one, which is switching those negatively vibrational words over to more positive ones. So to recap, that was number one, switching negative words to positive ones. Number two, removing some words like but and should, and switching to words like going to, or finding better ways of phrasing things that are more helpful to telling your own brain and the people around you who you are becoming, instead of keeping yourself trapped in who you've been. And last but not least, in the same vein, number three, when you can, switching I'm sorry's to thank yous, and using appropriate apologies, well thought out and well said apologies when appropriate, but not throwing around, I just used but, did you hear that? And, which is often a better word and more positive, not throwing around sorries frivolously. That's my three things that I can think of off the top of my head, under my hat, to help make life better, make relationships better, make yourself better, make your future better by stating things in a better way. Let me know if you have any to add. I would love to know. Do you have a favorite, something that's helped you, or something that you're working on as far as making your life better through changing the way that you speak? I would love to know it if you would care to share in the comments. As always, you can find other ways to connect with me in the description, ways to support me in the description. And until next time, I wish you peace, prosperity, positivity, and playfulness.